my informant, the LVMPD corrections officer, intel detective, told me he overheard the two detectives from LVMPD police arguing amongst themselves and condemning each other to the fact that the one detective with the tattooed sleeves on his arms was defending himself in dating this this female that was related to Officer Kevin Daly, where the other detective was condemning him and warning him that he should not have been dating this gal. And now look what has come out of this. So, as is true to the LVMPD, whenever there is a possibility that wrongdoings can be exposed or associated with the LVMPD administration, manufactured internal affairs complaints were lodged against the LVMPD corrections officer intel detective. By the way, his name is Greg Naglish. And he was in turn forced to go to internal affairs on 7 complaints, mostly initiated by the detectives from the police intel section. All these complaints were, of course, manufactured and with an attempt to eventually force Corrections Officer Greg Naglish to have to retire from the LVMPD. So this is how it's done, folks. This is how they get rid of people that go against the grain and want to expose the truth on what's happened. Well, let's continue on with Officer Kevin Daly. So 3 weeks goes by now and no word from anybody, no investigation from anybody on the whereabouts and the missing from work of Officer Kevin Daly. So the Officer Kevin Daly's co-workers formed a volunteer search party. This search party consisted of corrections officers, police officers, their families, their friends, their kids, would all go out and search for Officer Kevin Daly. And the place they're going to start with is where Officer Kevin Daly's burned out vehicle was found by a passerby. Here, Officer Kevin Daly's personal vehicle was burned up and deposited or found in the usual body dumping ground by Lake Mead in Henderson City of Henderson's jurisdiction. So after Kevin Daly's vehicle was found burned out, Henderson PD was called. They came out, did their investigation, what there was of it, and impounded Kevin Daly's vehicle. And no further acts were done. So the volunteer search party is now formed. They're going to start searching for where Kevin Daly's vehicle was last found. Sounds logical, since Henderson PD didn't do any searching or any investigation to speak of. So they go out to the spot where Kevin Daly's vehicle was, and they begin searching, and lo and behold, 300 feet away, there's his severed head. There is Officer Kevin Daly's severed head sitting on top of the ground, rotting away. So the search party notifies Henderson PD again, because that's their jurisdiction. Henderson PD comes out, and they in turn notify Henderson or LVMPD Intel section. Now, why they didn't notify the LVMPD homicide section, I don't know. Maybe the LVMPD Intel section has more expertise in homicides. Anyway, LVMPD Intel section comes out. They advise everybody they are in charge of the crime scene. and that everybody out there is to keep their mouth shut about this incident, and that it is being handled properly, and they are not to discuss this incident with anybody. And this was in right around December 5th, 2007. So you think that's where it stops? Well, it doesn't, because pursuant to my federal lawsuit that I filed in 2011 while still employed for the LVMPD against the LVMPD, Sheriff Doug Gillespie, and 14 others, high-ranking police officials, depositions were obtained from my witnesses in June of 2013, and the incident with Officer Kevin Daly was brought up by other witnesses. So folks, understand, I'm only the messenger here, but I was right there and I heard it, and it was under oath. So now you think that would be the end of it, that somebody would pick up the ball and run with it, but nobody did. So I prepared a letter. I prepared a letter that was addressed to U.S. Attorney Bogdan, to Attorney Mastos, and to the sheriff, and to the Justice Department, and to the FBI, all requesting help regarding the death of Officer Kevin Daly. So, guess what? Nobody wanted to talk to me about that, except in August of 2013, I was contacted by Special Agent Joseph Dickey of the FBI, who requested all my legal depositions that were taken in June and July of 2013 that had numerous criminal acts that were committed by the LVMPD, and they were ignored by all other agencies. Joseph Dickey requested these depositions, and he got them. He got them, folks. But nothing has been done since. So I decided to do my own investigating. And I learned two very disturbing facts. The Clark County Coroner's Office had removed the autopsy report on Kevin Daly's head 6 hours after it was put in. And I also learned that UMR, which handles the medical records for all the employees of LVMPD, that they have listed Officer Kevin Daly's death as undetermined. Undetermined, folks. And understand that anybody here, anybody in this community, or under the jurisdiction of LVMPD, under Henderson PD, or under the Clark County Coroner's Office, can have their death ruled whatever they want, anytime they want, and especially an undetermined cause of death, when the only thing that is found is Officer Kevin Daly's severed head sitting on top of the ground. No body, no clothing, no nothing, just his head. And you're going to rule that undetermined without any further investigation? Well, I'm hoping with all my heart, mind, body, and soul, that the FBI requesting those legal depositions that depict not only the death and murder of Officer Kevin Daly, but also the death and murder of narcotics informant in 1996 in April, whereby the narcotics section of the LVMPD was complicit in this informant's death by giving information to illegal drug dealers to find the informant and take him up to Alamo and shoot him in the head and then bury him out there in Alamo. Now, all this has been covered up by supervisors and administrators in the LVMPD starting in 2001. And I'll just touch on this one. That would be Philip LeMan, who was intentionally murdered in Clark County Detention Center by an employee or corrections officer of the LVMPD. Well, folks, it looks like we're just about to the end of this. I apologize for the break in the radio show. We had some technical difficulties, but they got straightened out. And for some of you, this is a new era. We have YouTube now, and hopefully that'll get downloaded so that some of you can kind of like review and maybe think for yourselves that how long are we going to allow this corruption to continue? And remember, any of this stuff can happen to you. So with that being said, this is Gordon Martinez for Open Mic, RadioTribune.com, and you have a good day.